Hello everybody, today we have a what I'm buying video. Over the past couple months, and as of right now it is April, we know how these videos work. We're going to go through the mail. I've got all of the info here on what I bought and what I paid for it, and then we're going to come back in the future, so make sure you're subscribed. We will check on these cards at a later date. I just did a video where we looked back on some old cards that I bought. We looked at the ones that were losers, we looked at the ones that were winners. Some stuff in here is kind of speculative, a couple things, but most of the stuff is here for the collection. So let's go ahead and jump right on into this episode of What I'm Buying, April 2024. Deepest gratitude to our esteemed patrons that allow us to do this channel full time. We love you so much. We love you, 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 love you a million infinity. All right. Hello and welcome to the day. Thank you for spending your time with us. I'm Jake and welcome to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. Today we are going to be doing, like I said, what I'm buying. Big shout out to all of our channel sponsors before we get into this. Card Conduit. That is the best place that you can go to sell your cards. Get some buy list prices for your cards and convert them into other cards. TCG Player, for when you are purchasing cards, that's a great marketplace. Lots of different sellers. Definitely go over to TCG Player. You can find links to all of our sponsors in the description of the video. Also, Drip Shop, new sponsor. You can find us twice a month over there, opening some packs. We're going to be giving away a ton of stuff, so make sure you go use the link in the description, sign up over there, and come hang out because there are going to be a lot of giveaways. Dragon Shield sleeves for protecting your cards. We've been using Dragon Shields forever and will continue to do so. Best sleeves for your trading cards. MTG stocks as well for tracking long-term price of your cards. And then finally, Moxfield for organizing your decks. Thank you for listening through all of our sponsors, and a special shout out to our patrons, as always, who power us through Patreon. We do really appreciate y'all. It is very important and it means a lot. So thank you so much for your continued support. And now everybody's going to realize that the video was flipped horizontally, but not anymore. So let's go ahead and talk about these cards that are now oriented the right way. We have some stuff here that I've just been picking up. These are all in my Carador Ghost Chieftain deck. And I pulled them out just for the sake of this video, just because these are recent purchases that I've nabbed here. We got a Chupacabra. This is the secret layer version. This is etched. It's hard to tell here looking at it, but this is the etched version. I got this Chupacabra for $8.22. It's been a while since this has been out. It's a cool treatment, and I needed one for the deck, and it's been a long time. I was like, why do I not have this card in this deck? This is just ridiculous. Next, we have a fun little local game store pickup here, and Murders at Karlev Manor. I'm using this card to kind of illustrate there's so many sets that come out, and you're going to miss stuff like this. There are going to be good cards that are at uncommon in this instance that just do so much. When this enters the battlefield, you mill 3, but for a green and 3 other, you could sacrifice this creature and return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So if you're doing a lot of dredge, if you're throwing a bunch of cards in the yard, you're most likely going to have a ton of lands that start to build up over there, and Aftermath Analysts can really work in a huge way to ramp you. And you can do that at instant speed as well. I got this foil here for 50 cents from the local game store, just going through their bulk bin. I think this is maybe like a $2 or $2.50 foil. But this is one of those cards that I see a lot of players being attracted to in the coming years. So I wanted to make sure that I had one. I should remind everybody, all of these cards, I have hundreds of thousands of copies of them piled up in the closet. So as soon as everybody goes and buys up all the Aftermath Analysts, I'm going to unload those and I'm going to go buy myself a Lamborghini. So just so all of you know, that's exactly what we're doing here. I'm only showing you one of each card, but I have hundreds of thousands, if not millions and billions of copies in my closet that I'm hoping to unload for, you know, what AMC Apes would have hoped for with their big squeeze, their mother of all short squeezes. But I do know that Aftermath Analyst is probably going to be $400, $500, maybe even $1,000 card by the time I get to the end of this video. It might even be $1 million card. So we're going to see what happens. Fierce Empath. This is old Scourge foil. This thing is played and pretty much beat up. It's got a nice little crease here, but you know what? In a sleeve, it's beautiful and I don't care. Other than the crease, oh yeah, there's some clouding on it, but I really don't care. This is to be sleeved up and played. I should say this card, the Fierce Empath, $8.27. These old actual retro foils, they hold value nicely. And a lot of players are attracted to those. It's mail time. All right, here's a meme. We have Clan Defiance here. 1 green, 1 red, and X. Choose 1 or more. Sorcery speed. Clan Defiance deals X damage to target creature with flying. Clan Defiance deals X damage to target creature without flying. And or Clan Defiance deals X damage to target player. Does anyone want to guess why I am buying a foil Clan Defiance from Gatecrash? We'll give you a couple seconds if you want to pause the video. Well, I'm buying it for Riku of Many Paths, new card from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. It is a modal commander. It is a fun commander. It's pretty silly. You get a lot of value from Riku from playing modal spells, whether you're creating birds, whether you are growing Riku, or just playing spells using that velocity that's built into the commander. The thing about Riku, and the reason that I am buying spells like this, is because Riku is kind of narrow. And if you want to use and get the most out of Riku's ability, you need to have a lot of modal spells. And we're going to see a couple more in our mail here. And it's important to remember that because it's kind of a narrow commander for now, until they start giving more modal support, which does kind of make it like a fine wine. It's a commander that gets better with time, the more better modal spells. And because Outlaws of Thunder Junction brought us a bunch of Spree, which is the reason Riku exists, we now have a commander at the helm of modes. So because of that, modes that say 1 or more, or in this instance, you can choose 3 modes, you're going to get 3 triggers on Riku if Riku's out there. So Riku of Many Paths has me buying silly spells like this. And because people are going to want, you know, the most out of their commander, they're going to want to pick up stuff like this. For example, Planewide Celebration, 2 green, 5 other. Shout out War of the Spark. Shout out Foil Quest. Shout out Jank, Master of the Stats. 2 green, 5 other for sorcery speed. Choose 4. You may choose the same mode more than once. So for Riku, this is pretty nutty, right? You're going to be able to either create a 2/2 citizen creature token that's all colors, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand, proliferate, or gain 4 life. Proliferate actually works with Riku as well. Getting a bunch of stuff back from the graveyard to the hand is also really cool. If you have Riku on the field, which only costs 3, you play the Planewide Celebration, you choose 4 modes, you're getting 4 triggers off Riku. If we have, you know, like Panharmonicon going on, Roaming Throne, all of this kind of stuff, then I think that we're really going to be living in a pretty crazy world here. So you can have stuff like Clan Defiance, which I did forget to say. Foil Clan Defiance I paid $2.58 for. Foil Planewide Celebration I paid $3.29 for. And I also bought another one that we'll see in this video that I paid $2.63 for. So really these are, I know it looks like a meme, but for a fun, silly modal commander, I can't think of a better card than Planewide Celebration. But yeah, another Planewide Celebration here. So yeah, one of these purchased at $3.29, one of these purchased at $2.63. I'll get it out of this. Underground, what is it called? Mortuary. Okay, so Underground Mortuary, all of these cards from Karlov Manor, top tier, dude. These are amazing. This is going to go right into my Carador deck. Like I already talked about, I picked these guys up for. These lands, just for that graveyard synergy, being able to tutor this up, I don't even care that it enters tapped. Most of my commander circles are pretty casual, but being able to surveil in a deck that wants stuff in the graveyard on a land, love it. Absolutely freaking love it. We'll put this here. I'm a big fan of those cards. Clan Defiance, a second one of these. So one of these Clan Defiance purchased at $2.84, and another one was purchased at $2.58. So right around the same price. Both of these are foil. I was just like, these, if that Riku ends up being something fun that people want to build, then I not only want to have a couple of these for my deck, but a couple to trade away as well. Next up, we have Wilderness Reclamation. This is the retro foil. Wilderness Reclamation was picked up at $4.26. This is just a very powerful card. Anybody who ever played against Wilderness Reclamation knows how powerful it is. And it's one of those cards where I was like, you know what? That's an enchantment that I want to pick up while Ravnica Remastered is out. These cards have all hit really low prices compared to when the set first came out. And so I wanted to go ahead and pick this one up. it's just one of those cards that is very easy to abuse, and so it's going to sit in a binder because I don't exactly have a deck for it yet. It will make it into some sort of deck. I love these retro foils. I like these remastered sets that bring us retro foils. Time Spiral Remastered, the retro foils were actually rare, but for Ravnica Remastered, Dominaria Remastered, recent remastered sets, this stuff bottoms out. And so we're seeing prices on these where if you look at foils from, for example, Time Spiral Remastered, you'll see that all those retro foils, because they were like one, or if you got really lucky, 2 per box, those are actually rare. My SRAM, for example, is from that deck, my commander, and I think I paid like 30 or 40 bucks for that retro foil at first. I think it's worth like 20 now. Pays to wait. We say that all the time. Pays to wait. Stuff like this, because there are so many, and you really have to know this from just following these sets and watching it and being interested in it. You start to learn that when these start to appear in all the packs, there's not a lot of reason for the prices to be super high, which takes me into this Bird of Paradise that I paid 12 bucks for. Now, I'm sure many of you know the foil retro bird, which is exactly what this is. When that was first brought back, everybody went crazy for the retro foil Birds of Paradise from Dominaria Remastered, but even that price has kind of bottomed out. So these retro foils, just because they look old, they're not. It's a card that's printed in 2023 or 2024. When you see them come out, there's nothing that's really more rare about them than any other card printed in the set, except depending on, obviously how often they appear in packs. But these days, tons and tons and tons of this retro stuff is just popping up. So you can get it for cheap, and getting a retro foil bird for $12. Wow, it's pretty much like the 7th edition one. That is a joke. And then we also have Mayhem Devil. Same kind of thing. Mayhem Devil here purchased at $6.56 for this one. This is just a card that is highly playable in Commander. It's one of those cards that if you're playing this kind of mechanic, you want this card in your deck if you are in these colors. And gosh, is it not beautiful. I remember when I first started playing this game, it was during Mirage, and I remember, we're not playing, but collecting. My cousin got me into it, and because the books were so small, I had no idea how to play the game. Neither of us did. We needed somebody to teach us. But the cards looked really cool. And when you go back to Mirage, you see these gold borders. This is kind of like, this takes me back to when, I was a kid, like 96, buying these packs and just opening these and looking at cool art. And so, yeah, easy pickup here at the $6.56. I'm sure it's probably right around that. A lot of this stuff hasn't gone up in price. Like I said, we're going to review a bunch of this when we come back in the future and take a look. Academy Manufactor. Wow. This is like easily growing the ranks of one of my favorite EDH cards, casual EDH cards. There is so much clue, food, and treasure support. So much treasure support. I really can't overemphasize the amount of treasure support that Commander has gotten. Just Magic the Gathering cards and treasure is sticking around, and since it is, this card only gets much better with age. I know that some of you are going to be like, what am I going to do with those clues? What am I going to do with those foods? Sacrifice them, gain life. Sacrifice the clues, draw cards. It's not rocket science. So, anybody who's like, the food sucks or the clues suck. If you're making a bunch of treasure, why not have an Academy Manufacturer out there? Just saying. If you would create a food, clue, or treasure token, instead create one of each. So for all the treasure that comes out, you're getting all the stuff. Sacrifice it to other effects. Use it for how it works on the board as a token. But this card is fantastic. I got this foil extended manufacturer for $15.34. Again, I have 130,000 to a million. I don't even remember. I have probably like a billion of these in the closet. So if it goes up, $5-10 bucks, I'm gonna make tens of billions of dollars. It's gonna be insane. I can't even emphasize it enough how insane it's gonna be, the amount of money I'm gonna make off it when that thing goes to $1 billion. And then we also have a sword here. This is the Oil Slick Sword of Fortune Frontier. I picked this up for SRAM. I've turned this SRAM deck into like kind of like a swords deck, and so I just want all of the best swords. This has been kind of out of sight, out of mind for a while, the Phyrexia All Will Be One stuff, and so I wanted to pick this up. We got the Sword of Fortune Frontier for $21 all in. All of the prices I've told you have been after tax and shipping, by the way. Every single price in this video is after tax and shipping. Got the Sword for $21.51. Love this card. It's one of my favorite swords until we got Sword of Wealth and Power, which I'm sure all of you are just going to be like, yeah, what the hell happened with Sword of Wealth and Power? That coverage, instant and sorcery protection, just absolutely nutty. But yeah, we have some stuff in here that's speculative, like the Clan Defiance, the Planewide Celebration, but a lot of stuff in here is just me buying some stuff for the commander deck. And so, or multiple commander decks. But let's go ahead and thank our $10 patrons, which is the enthusiast level of the channel. Everyone at the $10 level enjoys an exclusive video on the Patreon, should they choose to watch it each week. And I just want to thank all of these people. We really do appreciate you. Gotta Play Blue, Thomas, Brandon, Travis, Corey, Dustin, Emilio, Clay, T-Wolf, Matthew, Nitro Nick, Matt, Joseph, Quantum Mechanic, John, Chris, Betty, Kenneth, Hector, William, Dominique, B-Mac, Friendo, Nico, Annihilator, Ian of Wildcat MTG, Aaron, David, Josh K, Sean Brown, JR Hunter, Dustin, Zach G, Ryan, Kevin, David, Corey, Jay Bano, Kirknall, Edward, Dustin, Juniper, Clay, Jack, Walter, Brian, Paul, and Christopher Snyder. We really do appreciate all of you so much, and thank you for your continued support. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy this What I'm Buying. We're going to be back next week after we get back from San Francisco. We hope to see you soon, and thank you again to all of our sponsors. We appreciate you. Have a good one.